Okay, carry on. Unloose. Turn yourself loose. Hello, Carrie. Carrie, unmute yourself. Hello, Carrie.
Ed, am I unmuted?
Yeah, now you are. There you are.
Right.
I see you now.
Yeah, I had my hiding. I was hiding.
Oh, okay. Are you undercover tonight?
I have to be, man. They're looking for me.
There you go. Folks, Carrie's going to present a little new piece of information. So y'all listen up, and then you can ask questions, whatever, when he gets through. Go ahead, Carrie.
Are you going to record it?
Yeah, the recorder's on.
Oh, okay. I thought maybe you forgot.
No, not this time. You just wish it.
Yeah, I know it. We're doing a little bait and switch, I guess. What we're doing is we're trying to hit them as many different ways as we can. And this week I had a conversation with a guy that had a conversation with an agent, and basically they're saying all kinds of crazy stuff, which doesn't surprise us. So what I've done is if you take the 1040 instruction booklet, it says in there that they get their I just drew a blank, Ed. What does it say? Authority.
Yeah.
They get their authority from 6001, 6011, 6012A and their regulations. Then they'll say something, they don't tell you that, but that's what the book says. Then they come back and they say, well, what you're saying is not what it says, that's frivolous. Or he said, why won't you file a 1040 form? Or why won't you do this? The problem is, under those three statutes and the regulations, it tells them where they get their authority. If you follow them to the end and read them and understand what it's saying, they don't have authority to wipe their own behind. So what we're doing is we're starting to hit them with that also. And so they're saying that you can't do what you're doing, but yet their authority is not there. It's not. They're telling you stuff that they don't have authority in. And now I'm going to tell you a story that I just couldn't believe it. I have a garden. I planted corn, and green beans grew. I couldn't believe it. Well, that's what they're doing to us. We're planting corn, and they're telling us that the green beans aren't going to work. So that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to get it to where when you have to deal with them, you can deal with them on a level that they don't understand. But that section is 6001, 6011, 6012A, and their I just do another blank. And their Ed, help me out here. I just drew a blank. God, dog. Regulations, sorry, and their regulations. So I'm going to recommend that you go online and download those three codes. It's Title 26 and their regulations. Get them kind of together. It's only going to be 6 or 7 pages. Go through it and read it. That's where they get their authority. That's what it says. So what we told the IRS agent was, he said that he can do whatever he can do. He can tell us stuff because he has the authority. And since it didn't say it in those 3 sections, we're going to end up suing him over using the mail. And so we're going to get him for mail fraud because he's using sections that he doesn't have the ability to use. So what we're trying to do is if you have to sue the IRS, don't sue on taxes because you can't beat them there. So we're going to go ahead and get placed up where we use stuff they can't use. In other words, if they're telling me that the up is down and down is up, and they don't have the authority to tell me that, I'm calling them on it. Does that make sense?
Does to me.
Well,
they'll pay attention to the postal rules too. They'll pay attention to them.
Right. But see, Ed, you don't have authority to punch my dog. So if you
That's
do
right.
Okay, so if you punch my dog, and under the authority, it says you don't have the authority, and you're doing it. See, I have something that I have an argument that I believe I can win.
Right. I believe you can too. Has anybody had a question?
What's that?
I was asking if anybody had any questions.
Mm-hmm. We had a guy this week that we're trying to get. We're trying to get arbitration with the claims court, and they want to arbitrate. So we told them we wanted binding arbitration, and they canceled it. They want to arbitrate, but they don't want to do a binding arbitration.
No. That's like I'm not contracting with you.
Right.
Yes, Ed, I have a question.
Okay, go ahead.
All right, I sent in my 4 pages to the for jurisdiction, and they sent it back denied because I didn't send the filing fee as I was directed to do. So I resent it again, a new petition with a filing fee.
Okay.
And I'm sorry, I'll read to you just a second what they said. They returned it with the check to me and said, quote, on March 19th, 2019, the court entered its order of dismissal because petitioner had not paid the filing fee in this case, and the case was closed. By the order dated June 26, 2019, the court denied, this was my second one with the check, the petitioner's motion to vacate. So they sent back my check and denied my motion to vacate. The first one, they closed the case because there was no filing fee. Can you recommend what we should do with this?
Yeah, wipe your butt and flush it.
I'm sorry, sir?
Wipe your butt with it and flush it.
Okay.
No, I'm kidding. No. Now that you have your final order, did you do another one?
Not yet.
Okay, just go ahead and just do another one, and this time send the $60.
I did. I sent the $60 the second time, and they denied it, saying that the case was closed the first time because I did not pay the filing fee. So the order to vacate my petition was denied. So they've already closed my case because I didn't send them the fee the first time.
Okay.
Okay. I dropped off. Kerry, did you get back on?
I'm here.
Okay.
Yeah,
did you answer his question? I got knocked off.
I'm going to.
Okay.
No. Did you write a motion to vacate?
Did I?
Yeah.
I don't know. I just sent the 4 pages that I was supposed to with the filing fee.
Okay. What was your reason for it?
It was to get the jurisdiction that, it was to get an order that says the IRS did not have jurisdiction over me.
All right, I understand that. But what did you tell them?
What did I tell who, sir?
When you sent it into the IRS to the tax court, what did you tell the tax court? What was on your
it's a 4-page petition where it's me versus the Commissioner of Internal Revenue. It's a petition, notice of deficiency, notice of...
Okay, I know what it is. But I'm asking you, what did you tell them?
Other than what I put in the petition, I didn't tell them anything.
Okay, I'll ask again. What did you put in the petition?
That would never receive notices of deficiencies for the years 2000 through 2018.
Okay. Now,
and we requested a trial.
Okay, what they're doing is they're acting stupid again, see? So what you're going to have to do is, did you get a final order?
I'm not sure. They just sent this back to me with the check, and it was typed on the bottom, the decision and order is dismissal.
Okay. Now, what you'll have to do is you're going to have to go back in and start completely over.
Okay.
That one's been dismissed. Now, did you check the boxes on it, or did you just fill out the form? There's one that you check the boxes.
Everything on it was right except the filing fee.
Okay. Now, what we're having the biggest problem with is going back in, and people are talking. They want to tell them their story. We don't care about the story. Do you have Ed's email address?
The one that I believe I sent the question. Yes,
at the bottom
I
of
do.
The invitation. All right. Email him tomorrow. He'll with your phone number. If you have time, I'll walk you through it. Okay?
Okay.
And then, there's no guarantees because you're dealing with the Antichrist. But because, see, you're doing everything proper, but that doesn't mean they're going to. But if you'll email Ed tomorrow, he'll give you... All right,
could we set a time to do that and we could talk?
I don't care. Whatever time. Tomorrow, I'm going to be off tomorrow, so...
Okay, you folks are in Texas?
Say that one more time.
I said you folks are in Texas. You're in Central Time?
We're in Central Time. Wait a minute. There is no other time, is there?
Probably not.
Okay. There's two kind of people. Those that live in Texas and those that want to live in Texas.
Okay.
I'm kidding. Yeah, just email Ed, and Ed will email you back. I'm in Central Time. When you call me, I probably don't have your number in my phone. I won't answer. So leave me a message.
What number can I reach you on?
Well, I'm not going to tell you my number on this call.
Okay, so how can we do that?
Okay, email Ed and give him your number. Ed will send it to me, and I'll call you. And then I'll call you.
Okay, great. All right. Should we say maybe around 11 o'clock Central Time?
That'll be fine. But
and I'll send in the email an attachment of the copy of what they sent me and what I sent them.
That'll be fine. And then also let me have your name so that I'll know who I'm talking to.
Sure. My name is Paul.
That's okay. You just put it in your email. Then I'll call you tomorrow. No problem.
That would be great, gentlemen. Thank you so much.
It's my pleasure. Thank you.
Oh, thanks. We'll speak to you tomorrow then.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay. Next.
Hey, Kerry?
Yes?
Okay, I have an update on my situation.
Well, that would be good.
and I think a lot of people, hopefully this gives them hope too. I started the petition process back in, I want to say, late April, and initially did not submit the $60 filing fee with my paperwork. The court bounced it back and said dismissed for lack of payment. And then I sent in a second time, and I used the paperwork you had sent with Ed's email regarding access to the courts at no charge. And again, they bounced it back for a lack of payment. And then the third time, I had sent it in with the payment, and I had also checked my local court, which was in Portland, Oregon. And initially they had closed it and dismissed it, but after I had accessed the U.S. Tax Court website, and about a week after I got the initial notice that, or the notice on the third letter, or the third petition, a week after that, it was reinstated by the head judge and said that the location had been moved to Portland, and the IRS was to respond to the petition or file a jurisdictional motion.
Yep.
And so that was back in June 9th that came out, and they had to respond by Pardon?
Go ahead. I'm happy.
So they had to respond by September 9th with one of those two directions. And just today I got a voicemail from an IRS attorney asking me if it would be okay to dismiss this case, this petition. So I will call him back tomorrow and confirm that it will be dismissed for lack of jurisdiction. And if that's the case, then I'm good to go.
Yep, you're good to go. See, they don't know they don't know how to get around this because we're using their court, their forms, and we're using their system that they put up. They're pulling their hair out. See, because they don't. We got one case back that they asked to have the court dismiss it. They used my last name, Factor. So see, that tells me that they're running around the mulberry bush. See, and we have literally shut the tax court down. We're going to the claims court. We're shutting the claims court down. We're having to do a few appeals. So we're shutting the appeals court down. And then we're going to the federal district court, and we're shutting it down. We have 4 courts because the people have now spoken. There's 300 million of us.
Sweet.
And so, yes, it is. It's sweet. It's real sweet. And so, it's the day of reckoning because see, they're laying off, and we're ramping up. So we're gonna get them. And on the claims court, they're desperate. They're asking for more time. They keep asking for more time. All this is doing, see, is if they get 1,000 a day and they ask for more time, then that means that's 45. It's growing exponentially on them. See, do you know what critical mass is? Do you know what critical mass is?
I have an idea, but I couldn't explain it.
Okay, well, critical mass is if you're selling something. Let's say you're selling widgets, and you're selling them to just your organization. When your organization hits a certain size, you can't stop making widgets because just the sheer volume carries the whole thing. See, once we get critical mass, the courts, they're done. See, they're going to be done, and that's what we're trying to do.
Excellent.
But I appreciate you telling us that. Thank you. What's that?
No, thank you for putting this out there, Kerry. Appreciate that.
Oh no, it's my pleasure. Thank you for letting us be, helping you there.
Okay,
Now,
next.
Hey, I'd like to ask, if I may.
Go ahead.
Okay, great. I understand that you're not giving any legal advice. I'm not asking for any. I would never do that. And when I was born, I didn't get a decoder ring, and I've looked for it in Cracker Jack. I've never found one. So I was wondering, when you read codes like the 601 just 6001 you recommend, what's the important bits that you see in there that really gets you to say, wow, this is great?
What it does is it tells you that's where they get their authority. The authority that they get comes from Title 27.
Yeah, so I don't see any authority in there when I'm reading those. I'm thinking,
Duh. So their authority comes from those sections. So when they call you on the phone or you get a letter in the mail and it says to you, you didn't file your tax return, and if you don't, we're going to come and beat your brains in and spank your butt. Okay, then I write back and say, thank you. You get your authority from 6001, 6011, 6012A, and their oh my geez, I just drew a blank again. And their help me out, and their oh geez, that's a long time. And their anyway, whatever it says. And
authority and their regulations, yeah.
And the regulations, right. You get your authority from these sections and their regulations. Then I take that and I make a package out of it. I do a cover letter, and I say, I want to thank you for asking me to file a 1040 form, and you're going to beat me up and poke me in the eye, and blah, and I just quote everything to them. Then I send that to them, and I said, I haven't found the authority for you to tell me to file a tax return. See, it tells you you have to file a return or statement, but it tells you who has to. Then if you look up that code, then you look up that code, then they tell you another code, then you look up that code. Basically, what they're telling you is the only people that has to file a return or a statement are alcohol, tobacco, and firearms, also federal employees and elected officials, because that's where it takes you.
Right. As I look at these three codes, 601 says every person liable for any tax imposed by this title. Well, there's nothing imposed. And then the second one, 2006, 6011, regulations, secretary, any person made liable for any tax imposed by this title. So it just keeps repeating itself and never really says anything of value.
Right. See? So when they come back, just like what they're doing, we're doing a 12277 form, and we're sending it in with our court order. They're saying you don't qualify because of 6332J. Now, this came to me, and I knew it all the time, but I never realized it. But Title 26 is a statute. I hear this all the time, but it's not positive law. I don't care if it's negative law. I don't care if it's no law. It's still a statute. In order for you to read a statute and you tell me what to do, you have to be an attorney, period. So when you tell me we get our authority from, 6001, that's a statute. How can they get the authority if they don't have the ability to read the statute? So what I'm doing is I'm peeling back the onion, and so what's happening is I'm charging after them every chance I can. But on the 12277 with your court order, they're going to come back and say 6332J. You don't qualify. So then I go right back at them and say, I believe you, but see, under 6001, 6011, and 6012 in their regulations, your authority isn't about 6332J. How did you do that? I'm giving you 10 days to give me your bar card, or release the liens, or consider this your notice to sue, and then on the 11th day, I file a lawsuit in federal district court on the grounds they have an authority. That authority hasn't got nothing to do with 633132J, and they made a legal determination, and they've also violated a court order. So when I sue them, I'm suing them on the grounds of practicing law without a license, they're in contempt of court, and they have no authority to say what they said because it's not in their authority. And then that's what I'm doing, and I'm setting it up that way. And the doofuses from the IRS, they don't show up. So guess what? I put in a motion, a default judgment in the amount of, see, $750 billion or whatever it is. Because, see, they cannot do what they're doing because they don't have the authority. How do I know? Because their authority says you have to follow return or statement. The problem is a 1040 a return? I'll give it to them, yes. But so is a 1041, so is a CT1, so is a 430, whatever it is. So is a 432 or whatever they are. There's a whole bunch of returns. They haven't told me what the heck a return is and what number goes on that return. So if I ask you, can I ask you a question right now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I get my authority from 111.1. You owe me 300. What would your next question be?
Well, what kind of 300 would you like?
I'm going to tell you, if you don't give it to me, I'm going to take your house, put you in jail, and slap your kids. That's what they're doing. They have no authority. How do I know? Because where they get their authority, they're telling me they don't have it. The problem they're having is they're coming back and say, well, that's not what that means. Really? So then I threw in the wrinkle. Well, then what I'm going to do is they said that's their authority. Now they're saying it isn't. So when they say, well, what you're doing is you have your argument is frivolous. I agree with them. It is frivolous. The reason it's frivolous is because you don't have the authority to act. See? According to their own paperwork, not only do they not have the authority, they're saying they do have it, and they're using the mail to send it out. That's mail fraud. See? And so what's happening is, remember, how do you eat an elephant?
One bite at a time.
Okay, we're putting so many bites on our side of the table's starting to lean in our direction. The reason for it is we're not going after them under these IMA. See? You know, I talked to a guy today, and he says, but I'm a non-resident alien. I said, okay, then let's say it backwards. You're an alien non-resident. I said, I know what an alien is. They got those big old eyes, and they come from another planet. Therefore, you're a non-resident of this world coming from another planet. I said, now, that's the problem. I can sell that to a jury. So if the attorney told me, well, I'm a non-resident alien, I would tell the jury, have you ever heard of such a thing? You don't even look like an alien. See? And that's the problem we're having. The other thing that we're having is we don't understand what words mean. We got to understand what they're saying. See, they're telling you, well, you don't qualify for the release of lien because you don't qualify under 6332J. That's the statute. The only way he can tell me that is that guy or girl who did that has to be an attorney. I guess they could be a judge. So, what are the odds of an IRS agent being a judge? Probably not very big. There could be an IRS agent that is an attorney. And if they are, then I would sue them on the grounds they're incompetent. See? So I'm going to ask them for their bar card. If they don't give it to me, that means they have agreed to the following. Then I put in there that it's the acquiescence of silence. An acquiescence of silence is basically saying, if you're due to speak and you don't, it can only be taken as wrongful doing or crooked dealing or dirty dealings. Every one of those, guess what that is? Then I put parentheses, fraud. Now I put in there, if you don't answer me, you've admitted to fraud. So now what I'm doing is I'm going to walk them off the stinking cliff. They're giving me the tools to do it. Now I'm using what they said. They said, the IRS said, they get their authority from. They're giving me the 3 statutes and their regulation. If you download the statutes and the regulations, nowhere in there does it say your income is labor. In fact, if you look up what they're saying and what labor is not taxable. So what they're doing is they're making legal determinations without the authority to make it. So that's an easy argument for me. I love that argument. I can take that argument all day long. Does that make sense to you?
Perfectly, thank you.
No, thank you for calling. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, next. Well, that's all I got. Oh, go ahead.
Hey, Kerry.
Maybe.
Yeah. Hey, you had mentioned at one point you had a program for addressing issues with any state that's collecting income taxes. You mentioned that it had some rough edges on it.
Oh, we don't have rough edges on it. The problem that we're having with it is I can make the pie and cook it and give it to you, but if you don't eat it, there's nothing I can do. The problem is it's so simple. No, it's so simple that when you send it out, the other side can't get their arms around it, but you don't know, you can't either. And so the people that I'm doing it with, if they follow the instructions, whether they understand them or not, they will when they see what's happening. But if you follow instructions, it's so simple. What you do is you walk them to the cliff and they just jump off because they don't know any better.
Oh, I'd love to see that.
Well, let me explain. Do you want me to explain it to you? I can in just a few words. Okay, do you have a Black's Law Dictionary?
I do.
Okay, do you have would you look up the word form, F-O-R-M? See, they use a 1040 form. They use a 2555 form. They use they use all a 12277 form. Everything that they use, it's a form. So I figure, what the heck? There must be a reason to use a form. So I looked it up. So I use a form. See, I use a form and I send it to them. They don't answer it. When you get it, if you'll read it, then I'll explain it to you. Do you have it?
We got the dictionary out now.
Okay. And then I'm going to show you how simple. I'm going to show you how simple it is. But it's so simple that people can't get their arms around it. Now, this form doesn't exist. I made it up. But go ahead.
Okay, this is Black's 4th edition.
That'll be good.
And under form, it states, a model or skeleton of an instrument to be used in a judicial proceeding.
Stop right there. Hold on.
Okay.
A judicial proceeding is the court. In other words, it's a model or a skeleton to be used in a court of law. Go ahead.
Containing the principal necessary matters, the proper technical terms or phrases, and whatever else is necessary to make it formally correct, arranged in proper and methodical order.
Okay, so in other words, it's a funnel. You're going to pour a whole bunch of stuff in, it's going to funnel it down and put it where it needs to be. So what I've done is I have built a form. It looks just like the 1040 form, and it's got the word form on it. This is a model or a skeleton that I can use in a court of law. Now, what I've done is, are you in front of a computer that you can look something up really quick?
Yes.
Okay, put in Title 31. That's money and finance. That's the Treasury. Title 31, Section 3124. And then I put this on there. This is basically the form. Now, if they don't answer it, I do a fault, and then I do a default. I stamp the default, and I give them a length of time. If they don't answer it, the next day. See, where the problem we're having is, well, I really don't want to sue them. I don't really want to go to court. Then pay your taxes. It doesn't matter to me. Or pay whatever it is you're paying. See, once they back off the cliff, if you don't handle it, they're going to come back after you with vengeance because they've now got egg on their face. Now, would you read that for us?
Okay, I'm on Cornell Law School.
Okay,
Title 30. I'm sorry.
Yep. Go ahead.
Title 31 USC Section 3124. I have Section A, stocks and obligations of the United States government are exempt from taxation by a state or political subdivision of a state.
Stop right there. Now, if you're doing property tax or income taxes, either one, to the state, is it a state or a political subdivision of a state?
This is a state.
Okay, see, they cannot use stocks or obligations of the federal government. Now finish reading it.
The exemption applies to each form of taxation that would require the obligation, the interest on the obligation, or both to be considered in computing a tax.
Now, if they use it, now go to Titles 18. This is crimes and criminal procedure. These are felonies. So go to Title 18, Section 8. Now, if they're using a stock or obligation of the federal government, that means they can't use that to figure it, the interest on it. They cannot use it. That cannot appear anywhere on the entire state for taxes. Does that make sense? Is that what it said?
Agreed.
Okay, now, Title 18 is crimes and criminal procedure. So these are felonies. So read what they cannot use, and if they use them, that's the felony. That's where I come in. Go ahead and read it.
Okay, again on Cornell Law School website, 18 U.S.C. Section 8, obligation or other security of the United States defined. The term obligation or other security of the United States includes all bonds, certificates of indebtedness, national bank currency, Federal Reserve notes, Federal Reserve Bank notes, coupons, United States notes, Treasury notes, gold certificates, silver certificates, fractional notes, certificates of deposit, bills, checks, or drafts for money drawn by or upon authorized officers of the United States, stamps, and other representatives of value of whatever denomination issued under any act of Congress.
Okay, now, is there any possible way any one of those are being used, or any two or three of those are being used to figure the tax? Is that even possible? Okay,
absolutely.
That's
Federal
form.
Reserve notes.
There's my form. There's my form.
Okay.
In other words, see, to me it made sense, so I call it a 1020. Now, it's a 1020 form. I tried to use 1040, but it was already used. So I put on it 1020 form. See? Now, I have a model or a skeleton that I can use in a court of law. I'm going to put everything down there that needs to be. So I ask them questions. Check the box, sign it under penalties of perjury, return it so I can bring you certified funds. If they don't do it, I do a fault with the right to cure, explain to them that I don't know. I don't have to know because I'm not an attorney. Then I give them a fault with the right to cure. I send the same 1020 form again. If they don't answer it, I give them 10 days, 15 days. Then I get a default. On the form, it says if you choose not to speak, there will be the doctrine of silence, and then I define it. That's fraud. And so on my default, the reason I'm defaulting you is I asked you a question, you chose not to answer, so you've admitted to the following. Bop, 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 bop. See? Then I file the default in the county or the state, whichever it needs to be. Then if I give them 10 days, on the 11th day, what do you think I do?
Oh, you notice them.
Nope. That's already their notice. I put it in there. They got a fault in their default. That's their notice. So what do I do on the 11th day?
File suit?
Absolutely. I file a lawsuit because they have admitted to the following. Here it is. 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 See? They've admitted to it. How do I know they've admitted to it? I've done it 3 times. I gave them my 1020. I've given them a fault, and I've given them a default. There's their 3 choices. I've offered to pay. If you offer to pay, and I say that in there, this is my good faith effort to pay. I'm not an attorney. I cannot make a legal determination. Will you take one of the following, 2 of the following, or 3 of the following, or 10 of the following? And I put them all there just like they're listed, verbatim, just like that. And then the last one I put or other. Please explain. Now, and they're just lines. Put an X on the line. See? Now, if they don't do it, this is the consequence. Now, you think about this. If you have a credit card and you don't pay it, tell me what they do.
Send you notices.
There you go. What happens at the end of the notice? What do they do?
Good question. Couldn't tell you.
They take you to court and they get a judgment.
Okay.
See? That's what I'm doing. So what we've done here in Texas, we have 2 cases, or we probably got 15 cases now, where what's happened is they won't tell us, so we file a lawsuit. The judge tells them to tell us what it is. They say, well, we can't. So my first question is, do you have jurisdiction? That's a yes or a no. If yes, explain. If no, bye. So what happened is the judge told them to tell us how they got jurisdiction. They refused to do it. So we asked for to put the case in suspended animation until the county attorney tells us what it is. We just want to know what it is so we can do it. We're begging you. We'll do it. So the judge said, okay, it's in suspended animation until they tell us. It's been 9.5 years.
Wow. So in effect, you're completing an administrative process, and you've already won as you go into court.
And is that a bad thing?
Absolutely not. That's the best.
See? There you go. See, I'm a simple guy. It's so simple. If I show it to you, you're going to look at it and say, huh, what's this? See, let me ask you a question. Have you ever filed a 1040 form ever in your life?
Is this another Carrie trick question?
No, it's not. Does it work? Does it work?
I'm sorry, what was that again?
Does it work? No.
Filing a 1040? So far, no.
Okay, it works for them.
True. It's their form.
So I did reverse engineering. I did the same thing. It looks just like one. See? Looks just like one. Except it says 1020 FORM. See? It's a model or a skeleton that I can use in the court of law. And I give them the option. You can tell me, or we'll let the judge tell you. And see, it's already won before you get there. So when you get there, if the judge is corrupt, and they are, if he makes a stupid statement, guess what happens? We appeal it.
Okay.
And see, we appeal it. Once we appeal it, the appellate court, they take the case because they want the cases. See does that make sense?
Well, I'm still studying, so.
Okay, but see, I have a very weird way of doing my appeal. See, I have a very awkward way of doing the appeal, but that's fine too. So we're over 90%, 95% on our appeal.
Sweet.
So if 1,000 people do this, 950 of them they will be 9.5 years, and they won't know what to do. So, and see, if you live in a state that has a state income tax, I adjust the form, because in your manual, your whatever you call it, Michigan they call it an M1, and in Pennsylvania they call it a 1040p. But in there it says your Pennsylvania, your Michigan income taxes come from the feds. Well, guess what? It says that's perfect. So we do the 1020. If they don't answer it, we do our fault and then our default. Now I've got something I can take into court. Here's what they're saying. It says right here, page 3 of the M1. It says all state income taxes come from the feds. I got this court order that says they don't have jurisdiction. How'd they get it? I gave them this. They didn't answer, so they must know this trick. See?
Yeah.
Now, in Texas, if you go to texas.gov, you put in the search bar, put in there, what is it called? It's a sales tax exempt form or sales tax exempt certificate. It pops right up. And guess what it says on it? No numbers are needed for this form to work. So you take it to, I've got one at Home Depot, at Lowe's, at Walmart. I got them at Ace Hardware. I have them at just wherever you're going to do your shopping, Target. And when you buy something at Target or if you buy something at Walmart and it's taxable, I give them my phone number. It pops up and it takes the sales tax off. Why do they take the sales tax off?
Doesn't that get back to 31 USC 3124?
See? And there it is. They know. They just don't think we know. So, what state do you live in, or what state are you calling from, or whatever?
I'm domiciled in Washington Republic.
See, now you have a problem. See, your domicile. Now, what does domicile mean?
I'm going to pull up my dictionary.
You made it about you. See how you made it about you?
Yep.
See, and when people say domicile, I know what they're doing, and I know why you say that. But the problem is, when you go to court, have you ever been to court?
No.
Okay, if you go to court and the judge says you raise your right hand and plead, tell me what you're going to say.
Well, first of all, I would not make a plea.
See, why not? See what you're doing? You're putting yourself up there. In other words, what I always do is I just plea. I raise my right hand and say, I'm innocent to proven guilty. Without fail, the judge says, we don't have that plea. I goes, then I must be in the wrong court. What do you mean? Well, now here's the problem. Doesn't the 10 Amendments of the Constitution give me the right to be innocent to proven guilty? That means they've already violated the law. No problem. I object. When I leave there, I do my notice of appeal. I appeal because the judge said I can't be innocent until proven guilty. That's against the law. So
true.
I appeal it right then. Bam. It's over. It's over. It's always over. More than 90% of the time, they overturn it. Why? Because how can that be a court of law when it ain't a court of law? See? Now, I'm going to ask you another question. If you have to go to court, if you have to go to court, there's two jurisdictions: in rem, which is subject matter, and in personam, which is personal jurisdiction. Which one's the most important for the judge to have in order to pursue after you? Which one's the most important? In rem or in personam?
With my limited knowledge on the subject, I would assume they'd have to have both.
Exactly. Now, what are the chances of them getting in rem? That's possible. They could. What are the possibilities of them getting in personam?
Now, wouldn't I have to grant them that?
See? Zero. You can't grant it to them. Now, let me explain why you can't grant it to them. I'm glad you asked that, because if you were going to go to the courthouse and you were going to grant them, how would you grant jurisdiction to a court that doesn't have it? How would you grant it?
Oh, geez. Be sworn in?
Okay, no problem. Your wife wants to get a divorce, so she goes to the federal district court. You swear in, your wife swears in, you sign an affidavit giving them jurisdiction, and she signs an affidavit giving them jurisdiction. So the judge says, you're a real knucklehead. I'm going to give her the house, your retirement. You got to pay her $1,000 a month. She gets both cars, and she gets the boat. Tell me what she just got.
But she just...
Yeah, what did your wife just do?
What did she just do?
Yeah, no, what did she just get? The judge gave her the house, the boat, the lake house, both cars, your retirement. You got to pay her $1,000 a month. What did she just get?
Well, it sounds like she just cleaned my clock.
Nothing. She got nothing. Why did she get nothing?
Oh, the court doesn't have jurisdiction.
Okay, now how do you get the federal district court jurisdiction on a divorce? How would you do that?
Couldn't tell you.
You can't.
Okay.
See? How do you?
Now,
you can't.
Now, a marriage license is a contract with the state, correct?
Oh, but wait a minute. I said federal district court. So now think about this for a minute. The Bill of Rights gives you unalienable rights, does it not?
Unalienable, correct.
Okay, unalienable, unalienable, same thing. Okay, unalienable, I don't care. When you go to court, what does that court try to do?
They try to force jurisdiction on me, I would guess.
They can't get what they don't have. If they fool you into it, see, they can't do it because they're leaning your rights. They can't lean them. It's 100% impossible for the court to get jurisdiction over you. Now, here's my question. If you have a wife, and I can convince you I have jurisdiction over your marriage, I get your wife 2 nights a week, and you do it, give her up, whose fault is that? See?
Well, you wait, it might be your fault.
Well, that's true. But the point that I'm trying to make here is, see, everybody tells you the same thing. Well, you just got to plea in. It doesn't matter what you plea. It makes no difference. If the court has no jurisdiction, you can't give it to them. So if you get an attorney and the attorney says, well, we're not going to argue jurisdiction. You get an attorney. How does that attorney get your jurisdiction to give it to the court? How does that happen?
Doesn't.
Because you're stupid and you gave it to him. See? The attorney can't give your jurisdiction up. Why? Because he ain't got it. Because what happens is the attorney sits and does all this paperwork and you sign it. See? If you sign a contract and they don't have it, they still don't have it. Now, I want to buy your next door neighbor's truck. It's not your truck to sell, but you and I sign a contract. Can you sell me his truck?
No.
There you go. Same thing. How does the court get jurisdiction when they don't have it? We just have to understand that. So, see, you're saying you're domiciled. Okay, if you're domiciled, that means you're living in a state. The state has jurisdiction on the state. They're going to say, because you're domiciled here, we're going to bend over, buddy, because it's coming. See?
So
we say,
you equate, let's see if I understand correctly. You equate the term domicile with a state of, which is a corporation. Is that accurate?
Okay, wait a minute. I don't make any determinations of any kind.
Sure.
See, I make none. So you're telling me by saying domiciled, you're not in a state. Is that what you're saying?
Well, I'm not in the state of, was my point.
Okay, see? Now, I want you to sell that to a jury. See? It doesn't matter whether you're in of, is, it don't matter. Because I want you to think about this. You're on the roof of your house and you slip and fall. Tell me what's going to happen.
The law of gravity kicks in.
Bingo. But what happens if your dog falls? Your wife, your children, a marble, a quarter, a dime. The law of gravity hits you on every step. So why don't we just take that and say, why don't they just use the law? This is a court of law. See, the last time I went to court, I did what I just told you. The judge says, well, we don't have that plea. I said, then I'm in the wrong court. He says, I'll plead for you. I said, well, I'll object. He said, why would you object? I said, what are you going to plead? He said, I'm going to plead not guilty. I said, because I'm not guilty. I'm innocent until proven guilty. The judge said, it's the same thing. I said, okay, then. So you're saying that innocent and not guilty is the same thing? He said, yes. I said, then go ahead, Your Honor, and make the plea. So the judge said, Kerry is not guilty. I packed my stuff and left. He said, where are you going? You just told the court I was innocent. Why would I stay here? I see ya. See? Now, does that make sense?
Yes.
See, words mean things.
Yes.
See, the problem, okay, I was in court and I was indicted and the prosecuting attorney said, Kerry's using semantics. And I stood up and said, yeah, you're darn right, I'm using semantics. The real question is the attorney using semantics?
Mm-hmm.
The attorney stood up and said, absolutely not. I said, wow. So I had the judge look up the word semantics. Now, what do you think semantics means? What does the word semantic mean?
Good question.
Okay. Have you ever used semantics?
That's a good question. I probably have.
Well, wait a minute. I don't care. You're in court, and the judge says to you, do you use semantics? What would you say? You're going to jail, dude. You're going to jail for 35 years. Do you use semantics?
Don't know how to answer.
Okay, put him in jail until he learns. That's what they do here.
Give me a dictionary.
So I told him, absolutely. Guess what semantics means in the law? If you get it out of a law dictionary, guess what semantics means?
I can look it up.
Knowing the truth in words and phrases. So she said she never uses them. So what does that make her?
A liar?
There it is. Your Honor, she's a liar. See ya. And he stood there, and his jaw hit the counter. So what I'm trying to tell you, see, when I go into the battle, so far in left field, they can't even see me. I take a glossary page. I take a glossary page with me. Okay?
Yes.
When I walk in, I hand everybody in the courtroom a glossary page. What do you think they do with it?
They probably just throw it off to the side.
Absolutely. So we're not using it. No problem. No problem. See? So then when they ask me my first name, guess what I tell them? I have no idea what they're saying, so I always say try. What? My last name's Pod. Because I don't know what they're asking me. See? In other words, if we're not on the same language, I have a right to defend. If they take my, translation away, they're taking my translation away, you can't win. Right?
Mm.
So I keep my translation with me at all times when I'm in court. I just take my glossary page and I go in. I want to ask you a quick question. Do you mind?
Knowing that it's going to be a Kerry question,
well,
my guard's
up. Okay, here's my question. I'm going to fix you breakfast. We're going to have bacon and eggs. How do you like your eggs cooked?
What eggs?
The ones that I'm going to fix you.
And well, there's all kinds of eggs. There's ostrich eggs. There's goose.
See how simple that is? But yet we go to court, we just bend over. Because see, if you'd have said scrambled, I would have said, how many do you want? If you'd have said 2, ostrich eggs is equivalent to 11 eggs. So you're going to eat 22 eggs? I want to see this. See? If you would have said dove eggs, well, I need 700 dove eggs. See? In other words, see how simple that becomes? It's so simple. That's what I do with the form that I made. It's that simple. I take nothing for granted. I could care less. Makes no difference to me. See? Now, I want you to think about this a minute. Do you know what a zipper is?
There's many different types of zippers.
Well, I don't care what type. Do you know what it is?
I need more information to make that determination.
That's right, because Chip Foose, he made a car, and he called it the Zipper. See? See how simple it becomes? Now you're going to force me to answer it. That's what I do. That's all I'm doing here. I'm trying to get people to think differently, because what it's doing is it's absolutely crushing them. So, does anybody have any more questions? Thank you so much for asking.
Thank you, Kerry.
Oh, my pleasure.
I have a question.
I do. Could I like to ask, last gentleman mentioned domicile. The word means law. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. I was listening to you.
Okay. The word domicile means law. And the way they use it in, they say domicile is a status of attributing or being a permanent resident in a particular jurisdiction. So you're in a jurisdiction that doesn't have any jurisdiction. Is that what you're saying?
See, that's why I don't use it. I don't know. I don't care.
Okay. No, I'm just curious when they say, oh, you're out of your jurisdiction. Well, wait a minute. They don't have jurisdiction anyway, so how can they be in a jurisdiction when they don't have any jurisdiction?
See, that's the point that I'm making. If they don't have jurisdiction, I always ask them, do you have it? Yep. Can you show it to me? Nope. I object. I sit down. I'm done. I don't care what they say after that, because when I appeal, I have several Supreme Court cases that if you challenge it and they don't prove it, they're done. I'm done.
Okay.
I don't care. See, I could care less.
So basically, if he says domicile, he's saying, I'm under the law of Texas. That's basically what he's saying. I'm under the Texas laws. Domiciled.
See? I don't care. They can turn anywhere. Now, I want you to think about this, okay? I live in Texas. What state does water run from the top of the hill to the bottom of the hill? In what state do you think that does it?
In all states.
No, sir. Only in the liquid state.
Oh, that's
See?
right. Shit. Yep,
See?
you got me.
Never.
Oh, damn.
All you had to do is say, what state? I have no idea. See, then you're going to force me to tell you. Once I tell you, then you can answer the question. So you sit in every state. So, in other words, in Alaska, when it's 40 below zero and the river's frozen solid, how does it run downhill then?
Well, I was thinking in a state of confusion. I wasn't thinking about land states.
I understand it, but that's what they're doing to us, see?
Yes.
Okay, so in layman's terms, you just have to say define what you mean by domicile.
Well, you see, I'm not going to do that because they're going to ask me where I live, and I'm going to just tell them. Because I could care less. Because if they don't have jurisdiction,
No. What I'm trying to say is that when they ask you a question, you have to come back and say, well, define what you mean by this word you just said. That word, what you just said. This word, what you just said.
Right, you could say that to them, see, but they'll never tell you domicile.
Right. Mm-hmm.
See, they'll never tell you that. You're going to tell them that. Once you tell them that, now they can ask you, what does that mean? Well, see, that's why I don't do that. I'm not going to get into the argument. I'm not going to get into an argument where they make me define something. I'm not going to do that.
So the whole thing is always come back with a question when they ask you a question.
Right. Now let me ask you a question, okay?
Okay.
Have you stopped poisoning your neighbor's dog?
Well, which neighbor are you talking about?
See how simple that is? Because as soon as
define neighbor. What is a neighbor?
See, because I live in a neighborhood that the nearest neighbor is 17 miles away. See, in other words, you see how now we're drawing a picture that protects you. As soon as you say, yeah, I stopped poisoning them, well, when did you stop? Now when I build up my case, guess what? That's the reason I use my form, because I can make it. See, I'm going to have my form all done. I'm going to have my case made before I get to the courthouse. When I get to the court, they are 100% on defense. And you should hear the crazy stuff they say. Well, they just start crying like a bunch of girls. And that's not a slam against girls, by the way. But the point that I'm making, see, I understand what they're trying to do. They don't know how to deal with a guy like me. See?
Well, I got a question because I did get an order. We did receive an order from the court.
Well, wait a minute. From the general?
I'm sorry?
From the general?
Yeah. No, from the commissioner.
Okay. See, you didn't say that. You see now, the commissioner. Now wait a minute.
Well, I'm sorry. It's an order from the tax court.
See? You see what's happening? Okay, go ahead.
Okay, it says here, upon due consideration of the motion to dismiss for lack of jurisdiction filed on August 21st, by the respondent in the above docketed case.
Stop right there, okay? Stop right there. I don't understand. My next door neighbor is Bill and Mary respondent. Why are they writing you a letter? I don't get it. That makes no sense to me. But go ahead.
Okay. Ordered that
Stop. You didn't get it. You didn't get it. Who is the respondent?
Oh, in this case, the commissioner.
See? Okay. Now read it saying it that way.
Okay, by the commissioner in the above docketed case.
Keep going.
Okay, it is ordered that on and before September 21st, petitioner shall file an objection, if any, if the respondent's just referenced motion.
Okay, stop right there. See, what you're doing is you're confusing yourself. Start over. Everywhere it says respondent, say Commissioner of the Internal Revenue Service.
Oh, okay.
Everywhere it says petitioner, say me. Reread it, and then it'll answer it for you. Go ahead.
Okay. Ordered that on or before September 12, 2019, me shall file an objection, if any, to...
That's not what I asked you to do. So you're not listening. Start over, because you're missing the whole thing. The whole thing is at the beginning. Start over and read it again. Where it says respondent, say Commissioner of the Internal Revenue Service. Where it says petitioner, say me. Go ahead.
Wait, I just did that. Ordered that on or before September 12th.
No, it doesn't. It's okay. Hold on. That's what it starts. On or about. It doesn't say that the commissioner. Okay, start completely over at the very beginning.
Oh, from the very beginning. Okay. Due upon.
There
okay.
You go.
Upon due consideration of the motion to dismiss for lack of jurisdiction, filed August 21st, 2019, by Commissioner of the IRS in the above docketed case, it is ordered that on or before September 12, 2019, me shall file an objection, if any, to Commissioner of the IRS just referenced motion. Failure to comply with this order may result in the granting of the respondent's motion and dismissal.
Okay, again, see what you did? See? You're still not.
Oh, I'm sorry. Granting of
the. No. You asked the question. I'm going to make you listen. Do it.
Okay.
Start at the very beginning, because you didn't start it the same way this time that you started it the first time. Start at the very beginning. At the top, say me versus the commissioner if you have to, and then start over. So you read. You can hear yourself, and you'll answer your own question.
I think I know my question. I know the answer already, but I wanted to read it to you because in the motion it says that 4 years. They said that they don't want to file. They don't want to. For 4 years, it's not a dismiss for lack of jurisdiction because they said they sent those notices. But the remainder 15 years.
Okay, now go back and tell them. Say, I never received them. Since you gave them to me, send what you gave. And by doing that, here's what they're going to say. It's not important that you get them. It's only important that we send it. So we got that same one. We questioned it. The IRS came back and said it's not important that you get it. It's only important that we send it. So I went and wrote a letter to the agent saying, well, when are you going to send me my $600,000 change? It's not important you got the $1 million check I wrote. I only owed you $400,000, so I wrote you a check for $1 million. It's not important that you got it. It's only important that I sent it. And that's what I'm taking them to court on that. They said it's not important that I get it. It's only important that they send it. I'm glad they said that because the check that I wrote them, I get $600,000 change. If they don't give it to me, I'm going to make them explain to the court how we have two sets of laws. See?
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Okay, see, I'm just a nut job, but that's where they're having their problems with. But if you'll read that, again, when you read it, if you'll read it where it says respondent, say Commissioner of the IRS. Where it says petitioner, put your name in there and read it. It'll tell you what it says, and then it'll tell you what to do with it.
Oh no, what I mean, it says to file an objection, which I have no problem. But the problem is within their, so just file an objection to their whole motion and say something like, no, it needs to be dismissed for lack of complete dismissal of lack of jurisdiction with prejudice.
Okay, what I would do is I would go in there and say, they said they gave me 4 years. I want to see them because I didn't get them. Send it in. Let them
they did.
see.
They did.
I will.
They did send those in with the motion.
Okay. Okay. Now let me ask you a question. I want you to hear this question. I'm going to write you a check for $10,000. I will not sign the check. Tell me what you got.
Piece of paper.
No, sir. You're incorrect. You got a check. I'll go to court and I'll testify to that 100 times. You got a check.
Well, it appears to be a check, but it's not.
No, sir. It is a check. No, sir. It is a check. No question about it.
Okay, define check.
I don't have to define check. See? There's the problem. See? It's an invalid check. Why?
That's what, yeah.
There you go. See? You see what you're doing? You're saying that the check's not a check. Now, I want you to do me a favor. Do you have a checking account?
No.
Okay. Does anybody on this call tonight have a checking account? I'm going to prove my point. If anybody on here has a checking account, would you hit *6 and come on so I can ask you a question? But
I have a checkbook right in front of me.
Okay, good. I want you to tell me how the word check is spelled on your checkbook.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? It's not on there.
Ah, so see, it's not, you don't have a checkbook. You lied to the whole crew. What do you have? See? What I'm telling you is we are so, that's the thing that I went to the bank and said, where's the word check? Well, everybody takes that for a check. Well, I don't. It don't say check. So I drive a brand new Silverado. It says F-150 on it. Well, that doesn't matter. It doesn't have to say Chevy. I'm calling it my Chevy. See? They're calling it a check, and it ain't a check. See, it's a draft. I don't know what it is. I don't care what it is. But if now I want you to think about this. I drive an F-150. I go up and take all the Ford stickers off, and I pull all the F-150 stickers off. I put a Chevy grill, and I put Silverado on all over the truck. What do I drive?
A Chevy truck with Silverado on it.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely not. I drive an F-150. You can't change that by putting a sticker on it. That's what they're doing to us.
Yeah.
We're standing here, and you're saying to me that it's nothing. It's a worthless piece of paper. It might be worthless, but it's only worthless because there's no signature on it. So if you look at those, you said that they sent you 4 notices of deficiency. Would you look at it and tell me who signed it?
No, a lot of them don't have. I don't think.
Oh,
they don't have signatures.
See. Well, wait a minute. You just told me you had. But yet when I send you a check with no signature on it, you don't want to call it a check. Doesn't that make sense?
Yeah, I follow with you. I'm just saying that within their motion, they put those supposedly.
Okay, that's what you challenge. I never received them. Let them come back and say, well, that's it. Perfect. If that's it, then I'm going to pay my tax bill. Send them a check without a signature on it. They just told you the signature's not important. Now, are you in front of a computer?
Uh-huh, yeah.
Okay, put in Title 26, Section 6065. While you're doing that, when it comes back, I want you to read that. 6065. Does anybody else have a question? Okay, that guy that was asking me a question earlier, can I ask you another question?
Sure.
Okay. Do you eat bananas? The fruit.
What type of banana?
The fruit.
The yellow one?
I don't know. That's what I was going to ask you. What color? Okay, then what color is a banana?
The ones that I eat would be yellow.
See what you just did? You now admitted they're yellow. When I buy them, they're green. They sit at the house and turn yellow. If I wait too long, they turn brown. So a banana can be yellow, green, or brown. See? That's the problem we have. I asked you a question, and you want to answer the question I didn't ask. That's what I don't do.
Okay.
See, that's what I never. No, that's what I never.
Okay. Okay. So I'm getting a little confused because when you're asking me a question, I'm thinking that because I know you and we're just conversating here, that I'll answer your question. But let's say if it was an officer, it'd be a different story. I would say, I would ask them come back with another question.
Well, see. Well, when you get pulled over by the police officer, he walks up to the car and says, license and registration. I don't even know what the heck a registration is. See?
Well, I don't answer any questions.
See? Well, everybody says, well, here's my insurance. So he didn't ask for insurance.
Yeah, that's what, right. They voluntarily give out the information.
See? And that's what we have to be careful of. So your license plates in Texas, they put a sticker on it. Keep that little sticker that's no good and put it in your glove box. So when you ask for the registration, hand it to them. See?
The void sticker?
Yeah. That's a registration.
Uh-huh.
Insurance is insurance. A registration is a registration. See? And then if you're married, get your marriage license. What do you call it? Laminated. If he says, give me a license and registration, give him your marriage license and the registration. See? And in Texas, it says you don't have to have a driver's license. So I got the cards printed out, and I got them laminated. I hand it to them. Here, you're asking me for something that doesn't exist. Where
did you find that one? You don't need one.
I found the internet. In Texas, do you live in Texas?
I live on Texas, yeah. What they call Texas.
No problem. No problem. You see, you got to be careful saying it that way. But if what you need to do is email Ed. Ed's got it, and he'll send it to you. There's 3 or 4 cases. They're relatively recent, and it says there's no such thing known to the state to the law in Texas as a driver's license. Put it on a 3x5 card and laminate it. When he asks you for it, hand it to him. Okay.
Okay. Okay, so I found it. I looked up the code. It says verification of returns.
Okay, read it.
Okay, except as otherwise provided by the Secretary, any return, declaration, statement, or other document required to be made.
Stop right there. Stop. Now, what you got? Did you get one of those items? Read them again. Read those 4 items again.
Any return, declaration, statement, or other document required to be made.
Okay. Did you get any one of those 4? In other words, is the NOD, the notice of deficiency, or so-called, is it one of those 4 items?
No.
Really? It's not a document?
Well, it doesn't say document.
That's not what I see. You see? Then I can't help you. Read those 4 items again.
Return, declaration, statement, or any other document.
Okay, so in other words, what you're telling me is that the document that you got that says notice of deficiency is not a statement.
Well, they don't define it as being a statement.
Okay. So here's my question. I'm going to go to the Antichrist and ask him to tell me the truth. Duh. That's about as dumb as it comes. What you got is, I'm stupid, okay? I'm an idiot. But you've got one of those 4 items. Am I correct or not? If I'm not right, then tell me I'm not right.
You got me stumped there.
Well, okay. Then tell me, what is it? What is a document?
A document they don't define it of what a document is here on this.
Well, see, then you stood right here on the phone tonight and said, I got him. They sent it with it. What did they send? Notice of deficiency? So you don't even know what it is, and you got it. You know what? I'm going to send you a check for $40 million. I'm just going to send it to you. Because when you get it, you won't know what to do with it. You won't know what it is. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard of. That is a document of some kind or a statement of some kind. Now, finish reading what it says.
Okay, so any return, declaration, statement, or other document required to be made under any provision of the Internal Revenue laws or regulation shall contain or be verified by written declaration that it is made under the penalties of perjury. Okay, they're not made under penalties of perjury.
Well, it doesn't matter because you just told me it's not a document.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's not a see?
Well, go ahead.
Oh, now you're changing your story. See, I don't care what they tell me. If I tell you that the moon is made out of green cheese, I believe it, but I want to see it. That's just the way I am. Show it to me. Well, I can't show it to you. Oh, okay. Well, okay. Well, what color? Okay, let me ask you a question. There's a guy. What color? There's a man that wears a red suit with white beard, white hair, and it's laced in white fur, with a big black belt and big black shoes. Tell me who I'm described.
Kind of reminds me of Santa Claus.
Okay, now you got a problem. You believe in Santa Claus. No wonder you can't get this.
I never said I believed in Santa Claus. I just said it looks like what they call Santa.
Okay. See? In other words, it looks like something that doesn't exist. Let me ask you a question. Okay, then what does a man from Jupiter? If you saw a guy on the street and he was from Jupiter, what does he look like?
I wouldn't know because I've never seen one.
Well, because they don't exist. But yet you can describe Santa. See, what you're doing is you're buying into this crap that they give you. See? Now I want you to think about this. Mickey Mouse is naked. He's not wearing a hat or nothing. What color is he? Do you know? If you're on if you're in a movie and the movie's in color, what color would Mickey Mouse be?
He would probably be white, but that's a guess.
Again, Mickey Mouse doesn't exist, dude.
I know that.
See what I'm saying? This is what they're doing to you. You got a notice of deficiency. What is it? I don't know.
So it don't exist.
Like? Not a clue. See? You don't know what it is, but they said it was one, so you got it. Then I asked you, if I send you a check and don't sign it, what is it? Worth this piece of paper? That's not true. The other guy that looked at his checkbook the word check's not even on it. So how do you know it's a check? See?
What? So, Gary?
Yes, sir.
You have 4 minutes.
No problem. We got time for one more question.
Okay, I got a question.
Great. Go ahead and speak.
Hi, Carrie. It's Mark. I got an extension. The court granted an extension, a 60-day extension on the petition.
Okay.
And I was wondering, because it seems like apparently they're starting to do this kind of stuff quite regularly, trying to delay. Why don't we have an objection to to grant them the extension already filled out and ready to go? So when they do it, we can just send it in. And
well, do it. I don't have to do it.
It's like been a week, so it's probably a little late, right? It's already been. They grant it the next day.
Okay. What's going to happen is everybody gets an extension. It's 100%. You can ask to have it denied if you want to. Say that's fine. Do whatever you want. What they're doing is Okay, what they're doing is we're in the claims court, and what they're doing is they're saying this. We want a 45-day extension. They get it. They want a 45-day extension. They get it. They want a 90-day extension. They get it. See? No matter what we're doing, they just give it to them. You ask for an extension, and they deny it. Now, this is a true story. We put in the court to the judge. We put in a motion for a fair trial. Guess what the judge said?
No idea.
Denied. He denied us a fair trial. So what do you think we did?
Recused him.
Nope. We just appealed it. What do you think?
Oh, okay.
You see how simple this becomes? What do you think the appellate court did?
Upheld your appeal.
Absolutely. They overturned it. So we just moved on. So we beat the case. But can you imagine a judge telling you can't have a fair trial in my court?
Not really.
It's insanity.
You wouldn't think they'd have the the audacity to make it public.
Well, here's the problem that we're having. Most people say, "Oh, darn it, we just beat the case." Now, see, here's how you think. Okay, I'm gonna ask you a quick question. I put on a steel-toed boot and I kick you in the groin. Would it hurt?
I don't know.
Okay, I kick you as hard as I can. I mean, I get really good. I get 2 steps in.
Well, I mean, I don't know what is a U.
See, now you're asking. See how simple that is?
Mm-hmm. What's a groin?
There you go. I don't know. Would it hurt? Hurt who? What is a groin? See,
I don't know. I mean, what does hurt?
See how simple that is? All you have, because the more you do that, then you're going to make them tell you what they're talking about. See, and the closer you get to the core, the less their lawsuit starts to fall apart, because they have to bring. There's confusion. See, there's profit in confusion.
Yeah.
And that's what they're doing. They're bringing confusion to the chaos. Then they say, well, if you get a lawyer, he would know. Oh, okay. Are you a lawyer? Well, yeah. Then why don't you tell me? See, it don't make me no difference. See?
Now, what if, speaking about those, the scenario I had with the agent practicing law without a license, what if could he come back with saying this is company policy, this is what my attorney instructed us to say?
Absolutely.
Or
yes, it could, but let me explain to you what I did. Yes, I went to the bank and told the bank that I needed a checking account without a Social Security. The lady said, well, I can't give it to you because it's the bank's policy. I said, oh, my policy is to drop my pants when I walk into the bank. She said, you can't do that. Why? That's my policy. Now, what do you think she said? Well, we're not going to let you in for that. No problem. See, the problem is, let's say they come back and say that's the policy. Go to 6001-6011-60128 and their, I just drew a blank again, and their, and print it. Give it to them. Their authority comes from those 3 sections. If they're telling you something and it's not covered in those 3 sections, it don't matter what they say. See? I live in the Dallas area. We have the Mavericks. I'm going to call up the San Antonio Spurs and tell them that they can't run the play they're running because they're running it wrong. They don't run it they're not running it like we do up here. You know what they're going to say? Okay, thank you. Hang up the phone. Why? I have no authority to tell them how to run their game. They run a different game. Same game, but different plays. See, what they're doing is they're coming to us outside of their authority, and we want to say things like, well, I'm domiciled. Well, I'm a sentient moral being. I got blood. I'm a human being. I'm a non-resident alien. You're not addressing the problem. The problem is they're telling you something they can't tell you. So, what am I? I don't care what you call me. Call me anything you want. I could care less. If it's not within their ability or their
authority
to tell you, there you go. That's what I would stand on. But you do whatever you want, see?
So
could you repeat those code sections? I'm sorry. Could you repeat those code sections you referenced regarding their authority on the bank account? I'm sorry.
It's not on the bank account. Okay, it's not on the bank account. It's on the IRS gets their authority. If you download a 1040 instruction booklet, okay, under the Paper Reduction Act of 1974, it tells you we get our authority from 6001, 6011, and 6012A and their regulations. It says you must file a return or statement. Doesn't say anything about a 1040. It doesn't say anything about a CT1, a 2291, a 941, a 1041. It doesn't tell you any of that. We say, well, it must be a 1040 because it came in the 1040 booklet. The problem is they're sending it to you. They don't have the authority to send it to you, so why don't you sue them they're using the mail for fraud? Because they don't have the authority to tell you. Instead of going to them and saying, well, my dad was born with one big toe and one small toe, and my mother has one big ear, see, that none of that matters. That's how they're getting us, see? Use the law or use their statutes that they're telling you against them. Did I answer your question? That was 6001, 6011, and 6012A. Now, and the regulations. Now, do you want to know how to get a checking account without a Social Security number?
Yes.
Okay, there's a simple way to do it. Ed, do we have enough time to get into that? It'll only take me about 2 minutes.
Yeah, you got 2 minutes.
All right, here's what you do. Go to the bank. Tell them you want a checking account. When they ask you for your Social Security number, hand them the United States Constitution and hand them your state's Constitution and highlight the part in it that says you have a freedom of religion. Their policy cannot overtake the Constitution because it's the supreme law of the land. My religion says the Social Security number is part of the mark of the beast. We don't use it. Now they got a problem. If they force me to give it to them, they're violating the First Amendment. Buddy, that's an argument I want in court. Man, I'd love it. I would take that every day because then I can own the bank. I can change the bank name from Bank of the West to Bank of Terry. See? They can't. See? You see? We have to use things that we have to our disposal. Doesn't that make sense?
Yes.
Instead of going in there saying, well, John Wayne rode off into the sunset. So what? So big deal. See? But the Constitution is the supreme law of the land, and it says I have a freedom of religion. My religion says, see, what religion are you? It's a secret. I have a secret religion, and that's what it says. What are they going to do? They're going to tell me it doesn't say it? I want that argument.
Okay, Kerry.
Thank you.
Okay, thank y'all for calling into that, and our next call is on September 10th. And we'll wish you all good night.